The Grow My Cleaning Company podcast helps owners of cleaning companies just like you to grow your company and yourself so you can make more money and finally get the time and money freedom that probably got you into this business. Discover how to automate and create systems that allow you to grow like crazy without losing control. If you dig the show and want to show some love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. It really helps. Enjoy the show. Hey, Cleaning Nation, Mike Campion here with one of my favorite human beings in the whole wide world, Tracey Thompson. And I literally just thought of something. We've got a whole topic, but I just thought of something that I didn't ask Tracey's permission. So I'm going to hope that she loves me and go ahead with it. And we'll see if she throws something at me. I just want to give you guys some background on Tracey so you know she's amazing. She's been going through some stuff personally in her life, and just knowing her as a human being and as her business, and knowing you guys coming with, and it's all different stuff, right? What she's going through is different than you, but some of you it'll be harder, some of you will be worse, but it's real, right? And what she's been going through for a lot of people, and I love watching, it's easy to watch me or Tracey or anyone when things are good, like everyone's pretty competent and things go well, but when things get not good, how people show up for that is really interesting. And I just wanted to encourage Tracey from the world and tell you guys, if you're like, why would I listen to this lady? And for those of you that can see, she's smiling. You can just, her energy is exactly the same lovely Tracey that we all just love. So I just want to encourage Tracey for showing up, serving our people, and drinking our own Kool-Aid, right? So I want to encourage you guys, the stuff that we tell you when we're, sitting in our ivory podcast towers of be decisive, do what you want, step forward, focus on the things that you can control, not on the other things. I think sometimes because we have a podcast, it can seem like, oh, our lives are all perfect and you guys just follow us and then your lives will be perfect, which is not the case. Typically we're several levels ahead in terms of income or kind of the success that you're looking for as it relates to business, but we all have our own good days and bad days and good weeks and bad weeks, and sometimes good months and bad months. Right. So anyway, I just wanted to encourage you guys. Tracey doesn't just talk the talk, but unless she's the best actress I've seen in the whole wide world, she also walks the walk. Or maybe she's both. I don't know, but she definitely walks the walk. Anything to say on that before we kind of jump into the meat of what we were planning on talking, young lady?
Oh, I actually think that ties in perfectly to what we're going to talk about today. And yes, absolutely. We all have life, right? We all have stuff, life, people, relationships, demands outside of our business. And yeah, we like to kind of think in silos at times, like, well, what does my business need? But the truth of the matter is, as business owners, owner operators, our life and our business are so interwoven. And that's the topic today, is having a higher quality of life is a choice. As the same way choosing to be a business owner has been a choice. And we're going to really dive into that today. And it's important. And it really does start and end with mindset. I know. It's like doing different things starts with the way you're thinking. So there we go.
So from my side of the aisle, because Tracey and I get to deal with different people in kind of different parts of their business and their lives and whatever. So the first thing is, my least favorite thing is, oh, I want to change my business, but fill in the blank, right? The kids, wife, health, blah, 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 blah. And when it gets better, then I'll change my business.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Just say, I give up to find someone to be in charge of your life, because it's clearly not you. You might as well find someone intentional as opposed to just letting life take charge. So
right.
My least favorite thing, or the saddest thing I hear people say that breaks my heart, is some external circumstance, COVID, the government, taxes, inflation, my wife, my weight, my age, my color, my race, my amount of money, whatever, it doesn't matter, fill in the blank.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, I can't have what I want. So what the big thing that I coach our people to do, because when I first came, I'll be honest with you, when I started coaching, I thought it would be experience or marketing ability or money or charm or personality or hard work, right? I just thought it was so many things in terms, because as a coach, you want to see who succeeds and who doesn't, and pick the people that you think are going to succeed and like encourage those behaviors and all that weird stuff. It really is decisiveness, committedness, coachability, and resourcefulness. So that's a lot to cover. So today we are just going to talk about one slice of that, which is decisiveness and kind of committedness. Those are really two peas in the pod. So I think the big problem we see, Tracey, is a lot of people say, I'm decisive, I'm committed, but then they don't act the way that you're talking about at all. So can you help bridge the gap of what you're saying and how that looks like day to day, business to business?
Absolutely. So when you say, I'm just going to add to, and sort of, let's flesh out this whole picture. When you say, people say to us or to themselves or to others, I'm decisive, I take action. What they mean is, when I'm comfortable, when it feels good, when it's easy, when everything goes my way, then I'm super decisive and I take lots of action. So we're not talking about when it's easy. We're not talking about that right now. So what you started out with, for example, I had, long story short, rented a place for 4.5 years. 2 weeks ago was told it's in the place I rented is in foreclosure, was going to be sold at auction in June. And I'm like, okay. Definitely a circumstance I wasn't in control of.
And also just because old Mike and maybe small Tracey would think, you son of a gun, you've been taking my rent payments and not paying the mortgage. You just been keeping them. And now you're going to lose we're all going to lose the house that I've been paying for.
Right.
That could be something crazy. That's crazy, Tracey. We don't like that. Crazy, Tracey, we love. That could be what Tracey would focus on, is this son of a gun dirtbag. And it's all true, right? That's not, she has the right, so to speak, to feel that way. That said, continue. That wasn't how you chose to show up.
Right. Well, and you're absolutely right. It would have been the quote easy thing for me to say and probably justify pretty easily, feeling really helpless, being angry, trying to throw rocks and, just burn the place down, so to speak. Well, not literally, but you know what I mean. Figuratively.
So you and your
I don't know, maybe literally.
You and your sanctimonious, I did everything right, this isn't my fault, could have happily lived together in your car where you would have been living, but you and your self-righteousness would have been, you would have had your self-righteousness to keep you warm, right? Right.
I said to myself, and this is where, when it's hard, when the chips are down, when life, whatever, isn't dealing you the best hand at the moment, is to say, all right, I could do that. And probably be justified in doing it, being righteous in doing it.
And maybe even give yourself permission to do that for 2 to 7 minutes. Yeah.
Right.
There's, you can feel that, bring it out, experience it, and then kind of let it go. So we're not saying you have to completely,
you're not saying be a robot.
Yeah. We're going to visit Crap Town, but we can't take up residence.
Exactly.
Tracey can't take up residence anywhere. Apparently she's homeless.
Yeah, right. So when life deals you unexpected, unwelcomed things, right? Even if it's outside your business, how you show up, what you decide when it's hard, not when it's easy, is really determines the overall quality of your life, of your business, of your finances, of all of your health, all of it. Starts and finishes with you. And sometimes that's kind of the saying that to someone who's right in the middle of it is kind of, it's like, oh yeah, pisses you off a little bit. And when you get over the sting of that truth, it should feel empowering, because the good news is you can change it. I knew that if I was going to change the dynamic of what was going on, that I needed to pull myself out of that helpless feeling and being upset and feeling like a victim, and start looking for ways to change my circumstances, to change my actions, to change the way I was thinking about it even. Because me staying in, it's not fair, it wasn't moving me anywhere. Like literally was not moving me anywhere. It wasn't taking me where I wanted to go. So I had a client actually say to me, one of our clients, Mike, say back to me, my own coaching.
Those are the worst because they're so right.
He said, I'm going to say to you the same thing you said to me, Tracey. What do you want? What is it that you want? Not what do you not want? Because there's a lot of that. What do you want? What's the end goal? How do you envision where you're going next? And then focus on that. And ask yourself, what would it take for me to have that? And I was like, dang, that's good.
So for those of you guys that missed it, because you're so interested in the story, let me make sure you get that bit. Really, and feel free to set me straight if I'm off track, Tracey, but really a good mindset coach is just going to ask powerful questions.
Yeah.
The question, what don't you want? What could you be frustrated about? Why is this landlord so bad? Why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
There's really no answers that you can come up with that are going to get you anywhere you want to go. But man, is that a powerful question? So if I'm Tracey and I like my place and everything's great and I've been paying my rent or whatever, and then the guy's been doing whatever he's been doing, not paying his mortgage, and through that I can't live in that place anymore. There's a lot of questions I could ask that would really kick me. And by the way, guys, gals, please don't miss that this is something about, Tracey's living situation.
No, this is an example.
Because I'm cleaning, the employee quit.
Yeah.
Somebody left me a bad review. There's all this not fun stuff that we could look at. And let's just say employee quitting and stealing something and taking and starting a business to compete you. I'm just trying to think like the most frustrating thing. We could spend a lot of time and feel really bad by asking 92% of the questions that are going to come to our mind. But that one question, what do I really want out of this? And you might go, I want to be out of cleaning forever. I want to have employees that would never do this. All of a sudden there's this hope and this feeling, and it changes everything. Tim Ferriss said, and you kind of touched on this, Tracey, I wanted to expand on it. I'll pass it back to you. The quality of your life is dependent on the number of difficult conversations you're willing to have. I think that's the truth. And I would advocate for, to get to the next level, the quality of your life depends on the number of difficult conversations you're willing to have with yourself.
I was just going to say that.
When you said that.
Yes. I was thinking that to myself, because that's the one person that is the most challenging, ourself, right? There's the one person that's the most challenging to have, quote, difficult conversations with, because it's so easy to slip into I call it the righteous place, right? The righteousness of your wrongness. And when it's so easy because it's a defense mechanism, but you don't understand. I have a right to feel this way. I have a right to think this. I've earned it. Look at my life. Look at my circumstances. Not only did one employee leave, but they took 2 other people with them and some of my clients. Oh, see, I'm justified. So it's so easy to get into that space of being righteous about your wrongness in terms of it not taking you where you want to go. So definitely posing more powerful, positive oriented questions like, okay, so I had this crappy thing happen. People left. And now what? What am I going to do? The first question I would ask is literally, what can I do right now? What's a positive move that I can make, an action I can take? And I don't go too big. When you're in the muck of it, it's just the next best possible positive step. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong, Mike, is they try to, in the beginning, to try to get themselves out by taking on Mount Everest. Of going, well, I could, and they have these big, huge things, and they don't.
And then when they don't make it, they give themselves an excuse. See, I failed again. It's almost like they're self-sabotaging. Or
they go, well, that's too big.
Or like big. Tracey might have gone, I want this guy to burn in hell for all eternity and to sue him and to get $1 million for all my pain and suffering. And then when it didn't happen, she can self-reinforce. See, justice is never served. And then again, she and her self-righteousness living in her car, and the landlord didn't know any of this went on. He's just living his life. So it's, again, we're kind of drinking poison, expecting the other guy to die. And then when he does, and we're like, see, the world is unfair. Or there's just that powerful. And it's funny. We see this with clients, and I probably see this with you, Cleaning Nation. We see all the time, Tracy's going to laugh because she deals with this more than I do. When people are in our program, what'll typically happen is they start making big fat strides forward, and then something will happen often in their lives, it has nothing to do with their business, but sometimes with their business, like they've been just hitting home run after home run after home run, and they strike out once and they're like, oh shit, I forget how that felt like, right? Or shoot, I forget how that feel like, or just some weird thing happens in their life that really has nothing to do with it. And you and I, everyone listening, go, oh, they should, amazing. This is perfect. They've got Tracey, they've got this coaching, this is success. They're just going to lean right into it because there it is. No, they stop showing up. And it's almost like when you feel like, oh, I don't want to ask that question, I don't want to, is when you most need it, right? The time, and everyone else sees it. Everyone else is like, why don't you you got all these coaches and they love you, and it's been working. It's not like it hasn't worked. Like they've been getting lots of results, and it's just like they get in their own daggum way. So the same thing with you, Cleaning Nation, is when you need to have that most difficult conversation is the most time you do not feel like it, right? It never feels right. The time I most need to go to my wife and go, baby, I'm sorry, I acted like a jerk, please forgive me. Tastes like vinegar coming out of my mouth, but that's when I need to do it. And I've got an amazing bride who forgives me, and it feels great immediately after, but I still don't want to do that for the 20 seconds of self-imposed, right? It's not even like she's beating me. This is just me in my own stupid head. So when we start asking those questions, we don't want to. There's amazing negative response of no. I'd love to hear Tracey's thoughts on why that happens and how to avoid it.
Yeah.
But it feels great almost immediately afterwards. Same thing when people kind of come on the call, it feels great immediately afterwards. And for those of you guys right there going, well, I'm not in your program and I'm not married to your wife. How does this affect me? At the end of this broadcast, we're going to give you some things to do. And if everything's truly great, and you're not just deceiving yourself, then do them or not. Who cares? Go get them, right? If you're doing good, you want to do better, feel free to take action or not. It's fine. But if you know you're not happy and you know that there's a problem, you know you've been blaming other things, take some freaking action, right? We all want this different thing, but we don't want to do anything different. So talk to me, or talk to Clean Nation. I'm listening in for my own benefit. Tracey, why do we have that feeling like we know this is going to be good? And I get it. If every time I apologize to my wife or start asking those questions, she shot me in the face with a shotgun, I could see not wanting to do that, but she's always amazing. When I ask those questions, I always feel better. Why do we have such a like polar, like magnetic pull away? You have the magnet turned around, like they kind of repel, even though it feels great. And how do we overcome that in the moment? Especially if this is the moment they're having right now of, I know I need to do something, but Mike's going to ask me to do something different and I'm scared. Speak to those people if you would.
That's a fantastic question. I'm so glad you asked that, because it's confusing to a lot of people. This part of our human nature is odd. It's an odd thing. We are one of the only, as far as we know, the only creature on this earth that has the sentient, is conscious, can think about our own thinking, can think about thinking, right? So we can observe ourselves consciously. And at the same time, we have a lizard brain that's still ancient, that is survival only oriented. And they can feel like, we call that the monkey mind, the primitive mind, right? Versus this higher consciousness. So you could literally be telling yourself, higher mind, the prefrontal cortex, the evolved part of me says, I know better. I know this is good for me. I know on the other side, it's going to be great. But then there's this other part that comes in and says, don't make any moves. Change is bad. It's unsafe. You remember that time years ago, that one time you failed like that? You don't ever want that to happen again. And then it will pull every failure you've ever had in your mind back, because that survival part of your brain is not designed to make you happy.
And for those of you that are like, no, it's me, it's new, this is a unique feeling, especially those of you that are fans who read the Bible, 2,000 years ago, Paul said, I don't do the things that I want to do, and I do the things that I want to do. And he was kind of considered one of the most like self-controlled, godly, died for his faith. So he did some really hard things. If that man can go, I know what I want to do and I don't do it. And I know the things I want to do and I don't do those. So and that was written 2,000 years ago. So this is not new or unique to you. Please continue.
Right. Absolutely. And if we're honest with ourselves, we know that there are two parts of ourselves. There's that visionary, the higher self, the one that says, but I know I deserve better. I can have better. I still want that happy life. I still want all the things I want. And then there's that survival brain trying to pull you back and say, no, You're justified in being angry. Stay safe. Don't do anything. Don't take any risks. Don't make any moves. So what do we do about that?
Which is crazy because our mind knows, we all say, I get the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and getting differences. And then we go do the same thing over and over and expect different results. So we kind of like, just like you said, there's those two, one gets it, we can articulate it clearly. And when somebody else does it, we can judge so good. We like clearly see how stupid
We're
that
like,
guy
why don't they just do it?
But the mirror comes up like, well, hold on. My situation's different. Well, hold on. Let me explain.
Yeah, exactly. And this really shows up when the metaphor I like using is I'm a big driver. I love to drive, like cars, like driving on the road. And
Tracey just says that because she's currently living in her car. But
yeah.
Sorry, I'm going to bust
my car / house.
Good thing she loves driving because she spends a lot of time there.
Well, I do like to talk about, where I live. And this is a great metaphor of where you live is in driving. So when we're driving, there are lots of we have had as adults, lots of instruction that tells us that the best move as a driver is to have the skill and the reflexes and the mindset that the best defense is an offense, meaning that most of the time to get out of an accident, it's not good to slam on your brakes. It is not good to panic and freeze, because that's exactly when the semi hits you coming the other way. That's exactly when you get rear-ended.
And by the way, when you're tensed up, you get injured worse. If somehow you don't see the accident coming and you're relaxed when you get hit, right, far less damage. So it's a great analogy. Fair,
if you go, your first move is to look for the hole, look for the way out, look for the place where you can go next and accelerate through the problem, rather than slam on your brakes, freeze up, tense up, and then get smashed by life or business, right? So this metaphor works really, really well. What we see so often is the desire to want to go forward and to get around the giant train wreck that's happening right in front of you. But the tendency is we see as people freezing up and saying, yes, Mike, I so get it. I definitely want to. I see the wisdom in what you're saying. You're teaching me exactly what I need to know, but I'm afraid. I'm too scared. It feels too much. I'm going to slam on my brakes and hope that the accident that's about to come and hit me isn't as bad as I think, which of course is never a great defense. It's not. And so I like that metaphor, because right now, Clean Nation, if you're in a situation where you feel like everything's coming at you, to freeze and slam on your brakes and say, no, I'm just going to stay here, is not a good strategy for you. If you want more, if you want to get out. So finding someone to help you skill up in how to accelerate through problems instead of slamming on your brakes and getting smashed every time is huge. As a coach, I will tell you, find someone who can skillfully help you navigate out towards what you want, not staying stuck, getting ready to get smacked by what you don't want.
So let me wrap this in a bow.
Yes.
I mentioned earlier, like, my least favorite part of these podcasts, we get so many listeners that love the show and love Tracey and blah, blah, blah. It's great, but they don't do a daggum thing. And it's so frustrating because we don't mind putting out the content and working hard and doing everything we can. But until you take action, it's just, you might feel better. Like, oh, that was nice. I enjoyed that. And that won't change a daggum thing. So there's two folks out there. One is, I'm good. Now's not the time. I'm happy with where it is. Maybe I like to be a little better, maybe not. That's okay. Then you just go on and hit to the next one, like or the last one, whatever you want to go. It's fine by me. The other one is like, God bless it. I'm freezing up. I'm just about to get hit by a car. Maybe I got hit by a car. And being in the hospital and in intensive care is more comfortable than doing the physical therapy I need to know to get out. But I'm ready to walk again. I got to make a change. If that's you, knowing, just like Tracey said, Mount Everest can be hard. Like calling a coach and doing a whole thing, that can be scary. So if you go to growmycleancompany.com, you can, we've got a free on-demand training. I would start there. It's got the 5 steps. It's going to give you tons of the foundation of what you need to do to get out of cleaning forever, to double your business, to just have more time and money freedom. At the end of that, there's an opportunity to talk to one of the coaches. Rarely is this the case. Right now, I am actually taking calls. So we're recording this May 2022, June 2022. Anyway, the big thing is to take action. If you keep doing the same things you want, you're going to keep getting the same things you've been getting. If and when, just like we talked about, being all indecisive and committed, if today's the day, take action. Do not leave the scene of an epiphany, as Tracey would say, without taking action.
Yes.
So Cleaning Nation, for those of you that life's good, we'll see you in the next episode. For those of you that are like, I want to change, take action, growmycleaningcompany.com. We made that entire training completely free just to make it as easy as possible. Take that first step now. We'll see you soon. Well, here we are, the end of the podcast, and you made it. Great job. I've got a little bonus for you for sticking through with me. But like I mentioned before, if you got value out of this podcast and you want to show a little love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Spotify, wherever the heck you're listening to this thing. Share with a friend, share the love. And as a special thank you for those of you that stuck with me to the end, how about I give you my personal phone number so we can text? It's a great way for me to get to know you, your business, your goals personally. So shoot me a text now, 602-932-6431. That's 602-932-6431. I am the only one who responds to these texts, and I will personally respond to everyone I possibly can as long as this number is manned. Don't know how long we're going to keep this at the end of the podcast, so grab it now. 602-932-6431. Give me a text, say hey, can't wait to meet you.